When patients with hypothyroidism come in to see me for the first time, there's usually one symptom that shows up way more commonly than any of the others, and that's fatigue or low energy. And while there's many reasons why someone might be dealing with fatigue, I often dig a little bit deeper and find that people are making some specific health choices to try to improve their health that are actually making their energy worse. So today we're going to cover the 3 most regular mistakes I see people making that can impact their fatigue, and also give you guys some strategies to help improve in these areas. My name is Dr. Bodle, and I specialize in helping women with Hashimoto's and low thyroid to lose weight and improve their energy through natural strategies. And if you feel like you're continuing to struggle with your thyroid symptoms, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and also ring the bell. There's a lot of different topics here that I think will help you out, give you a lot of value, and allow you to make some great changes to start improving your health. Now, when it comes to fatigue, and this is something that we've talked about before, but if you've been previously diagnosed with hypothyroidism and you notice an increase in your fatigue symptoms, then most doctors are going to be inclined to look at things like your TSH and your T4 and try to determine if there's been any changes in your thyroid hormone levels that could be contributing to your symptoms. And I think this is a great place to start, and it should be assessed. With that said, many people will already have normal thyroid markers, or after making an adjustment in their medication, it'll bring those markers into the normal range, but their symptoms will continue. So the question then becomes, what else could be contributing to our fatigue? And that leads us to our first mistake that I see people making, which is undereating. Aside from fatigue, the other biggest problem that I see people dealing with in my practice is weight gain. And if you've struggled with this before, you probably know how frustrating it can be and how committed you would be to any process that would allow you to see improvements and positive changes. Unfortunately, for most people, this means eating less calories. And that can look like anything from portion control on a meal-to-meal basis, reducing our overall calorie intake to 900 to 1200 calories per day, or going on an extended fast. And while I can definitely understand the desire and commitment to lose weight at just about any cost to get back to feeling like your old self again, there's a couple things that we have to keep in mind. The first is that the extreme restriction of calories typically doesn't work well for us in terms of long-term and consistent weight loss. Yes, calories play a role, but it's not the main factor, and I think it's more important to assess things like hormones and inflammation. Additionally, although the reduction of calories can help us to lose a little bit of weight in the short term, our body soon adapts and will reduce our overall metabolic rate, which leads us to our second problem. Less calories means less fuel for making energy, and that means less energy overall. And you'll know that you've overdone it with the caloric restriction if you start to develop symptoms like feeling lightheaded, being cold all the time, feeling a little bit more irritable, and of course our main focus for today, noticing that your energy levels are dropping even lower. Now this can be confusing because all of those symptoms that I just listed could also be misinterpreted as low thyroid hormone symptoms. And as we already said, most doctors are going to push you into believing that that's the main cause of your fatigue. This results in us getting caught in this weird headspace where we think, oh, I have fatigue because I have thyroid problems. But we don't realize that it's the drop in calories which is actually making things worse. So if you do have a goal of losing weight but also want to support your energy levels, instead of reducing the total amount of what you're eating, try changing the composition of your meals. Our 3 macronutrients are protein, fat, and carbohydrates. And if the amount that you're getting of each one of those from your current meal selection isn't serving you in the way that you want it to, you can use each one of them as a lever and adjust them to fit your needs in a better way. As you're making changes, you'll know you're heading in the right direction if you feel fairly neutral after your meal times. You shouldn't feel energized and you shouldn't feel fatigued. You also shouldn't have digestive issues like reflux or bloating. Once you're doing better with that immediate response to food, you want to take a look at how you're doing in between meals. If you're having less issues with low body temperature, feeling more emotionally stable and less irritable, and you're also not seeing huge increases in hunger, then you've made some good selections. As a general rule for my patients with hypothyroidism, I often see people under-eating protein, being fearful of fat, and over-consuming carbohydrates. For the healing process, I think it's important to get at least 100 grams of animal protein per day, eat fat in its whole food form while being cautious of some of the liquid and processed fats that are out there, And also be aware that people with hypothyroidism don't tolerate carbohydrates as well as people who don't have hypothyroidism. So you may need to reduce that number down to be able to see an effective change. Keep in mind that this is just a starting point, and you'll definitely have to adjust these numbers to fit your needs. But if your current approach isn't working for you, don't be afraid to change things, tinker, and find a new solution. The second mistake that I see people making that makes their energy worse is over-exercising. And unfortunately, this stems from the same problem that we saw with our first mistake, which is people are trying to lose weight. Most of the time when people start exercising and they only see a little bit of change, or maybe none at all, we're typically told that it's not a problem with the exercise, it's a problem with us, and we're not putting forth enough effort or enough intensity, and for us to be able to achieve the results that we want to be able to achieve, we have to up the ante. If a little bit is good, more must be better, right? So in response, if we were only working out 3 times a week, now we're working out 5 times a week. If we were only doing 30-minute workouts, now we're doing 60-minute workouts. And if we were only doing cardio before, now we're doing cardio mixed with weights, mixed with high-intensity training. And even with this all going on, instead of seeing an improvement in our symptoms, we actually start to overtrain, and this sabotages our energy levels. Maybe this sounds like you, and if you're someone who continually increased your exercise routine just to see some sort of change or improvement in symptoms, let me know in the comments below. And maybe you combined overtraining with undereating, and that probably didn't make you feel very well at all. So what sort of things were you able to recognize and see in yourself that let you know you weren't on the right path, and what sort of changes did you make to start feeling better again? No matter your experience, I think it's really important for all of us to recognize that although exercise is hugely beneficial, it is inflammatory in the acute stage. That means that if we're doing it too frequently or too intensely, our ability to manage that inflammatory load becomes compromised, and that can have a huge impact on our energy levels. Additionally, if we don't allow ourselves enough time to recover, that goal that we set out with in the beginning, which was to lose weight, well, that's not going to do very well for us either. The low-grade inflammatory response that our body now has to endure, which we know is present due to things like inability to recover, chronically sore and achy muscles, and poor endurance with normal activities, can also make it impossible for us to lose weight on a regular basis. So even though our intentions were good and exercise is generally a good thing, our overtraining has now prevented us from losing weight and also made our energy levels worse. My recommendation for chronic thyroid conditions is to stop killing yourself at the gym. Instead, focus on being active and getting your body moving. Some of the best ways to do this include getting a 5 to 10 minute walk in the morning to start your day, doing water exercises like water aerobics or swimming, or doing body weight exercises like push-ups, planks, core work, and squats while you're at home. Again, we don't want to beat ourselves into a pulp. And although it might seem strange to only do an exercise for 5, 10, or 15 minutes, that might be exactly where you need to be. So get moving, work up a little bit of a sweat, get your heart rate and breathing rate up, and as long as you're feeling great and energized after your workout, you're on the right track. Our third mistake is giving too much. And of course, I'm not against you giving to those around you, but I see you guys out there. You're a little too nice sometimes, and you're giving everything away and leaving nothing for yourself. Oftentimes I'll hear things from my patients like, well, I have to get my kids to practice, or I really need to finish this project for work, or I have to take care of my parents right now. And all of those things might be true, and they probably are true. But here's the deal. Your body doesn't always care what you want, it cares what you do. And sometimes when it comes to chronic conditions, you're doing too much. In fact, if you really want to start healing, you have to be a little bit selfish and make yourself a priority. And if your goal is to help other people, then I wouldn't even call this being selfish. It's just making sure that you have the time to heal, recover, and feel your best. That way you can give to other people. To help with this, there's a few things that I recommend you do. First, set some boundaries. Make sure that you have it clearly defined in your head and on your schedule when you should be working and when you should be playing. Second, take some time to decompress daily. And if you're really strapped for time, this doesn't have to take a huge chunk out of your day. Simply schedule 5 to 10 minutes to do something like read a book that you enjoy, do some meditation, write down some positive thoughts or things that you're thankful for, or listen to music. Whatever it is, put the phone away, turn the TV off, find a quiet part of your home, and let everyone else know that you're not to be distracted during your me time. Lastly, take a vacation, and even better yet, take a vacation by yourself. And just like the decompression time and your exercise, this doesn't have to be a big ordeal. You don't need to fly halfway around the world to a deserted tropical island unless that's something that sounds good to you and you really need to do. I know I have some patients who could definitely benefit from that sort of thing. Instead, it might be more practical to find a local destination spot, blast out on a weekend and spend a night there, and think of it as an expanded decompression time just for you. Simply by taking a little bit of time to invest in yourself, you'll notice that you'll feel much better and have much more energy to give to those around you. But hopefully you enjoyed learning about all 3 mistakes today, and hopefully you weren't making any of them. But if you were, ideally you have enough information to start making some changes and start feeling better again. Also, if you're interested in working with someone who takes all of these things into account and more, this is what I do every single day in my practice. We take a holistic approach to people's health and make sure that we get to the root cause of their problems. That way they can see maximum changes and maximum benefit. If that's something you're interested in, you can email me at contact@seattlethyroidhelp.com. I'll link that for you down below, and we can get the process started for you to set up a one-on-one consultation with me for free to see if we would be a good fit to work together. Also, don't forget to grab my free download, which is Electrolytes for Hashimoto's and Keto. If you've been using a low-carb or ketogenic way of eating to help support your thyroid symptoms, then electrolytes can be a key part of that. In the download, you'll learn how much you should be taking in and in what ratios to maximize these nutritional strategies. Thanks as always for hanging with me until the end. I really do appreciate it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and share it. And if you'd like to say hi on social media, you're always welcome to do so. My Instagram handle is right below here. My name is Dr. Bodle. I hope you're having a great week, and I will see you next Thursday.